Hello and welcome to the L&D Academy's channel. Today we're answering the question, what is Andragogy? Let's get to it. You know how schools mostly teach kids through lectures? Well, this doesn't work on adults, and this is where Andragogy comes in. It's more commonly known as adult learning theory, and it basically tells how adults learn differently from children. Firstly, adults have a need to know why what they're learning is relevant to their goals and challenges. This is where the infamous WIFM, what's in it for me, comes in. For example, if I'm a salesperson, which of these two articles am I more likely to click on? 10 powerful closing techniques to boost your sales, or how to create a healthy work-life balance as a remote freelancer? If you chose the former, then you think like an adult. For learning and development teams, this means designing learning content that is directly relevant to learners' roles and challenges, rather than generic training that feels disconnected from their daily work. Clearly communicating the benefits of any learning program up front so that learners immediately understand how it will help them succeed, and using real-world examples and case studies that directly relate to the learner's industry or job function, making the content feel practical and applicable. The second principle is the self concept. In layman's terms, adults prefer to be self-directed, taking control of what, how, and when they learn. For learning and development teams, this means we need to create an environment where learners can take charge of their learning. Practically, this may involve doing different things. For example, giving learners access to a library of resources that has articles and videos and courses that they can explore at their own pace, or providing personalized learning paths so they can choose topics and skills relevant to their roles and interests, or offering flexible learning formats like microlearning, self-paced courses, or even learning in the flow of work, and encouraging peer-to-peer learning through communities, discussion forums, or mentoring programs. The third principle is about their experience. Adults don't just absorb new information, they compare it to what they already know. Every new concept is filtered through their past experiences, which means they're constantly asking, does this make sense based on what I've seen and experienced before? If learning doesn't connect to past experiences, adults will struggle to see its relevance. But when it builds on what they already know, it really sticks. Think about a seasoned customer support representative attending a training on dealing with difficult customers. If the trainer presents a new technique that contradicts what has worked for them in the past, they won't just accept it at face value. They'll question it, challenge it, and maybe even push back. On the flip side, if the new approach builds on what they already know, offering a fresh perspective or refining their current skills, they're far more likely to embrace it. For learning and development teams, this principle means acknowledging learners' prior experiences instead of assuming they're starting from scratch, and connecting new information to what learners already know, making it easier for them to see its value. Also, using analogies, real-world examples, and case studies that align with what learners have previously encountered, and allowing space for critical thinking and debate so learners can challenge new ideas and refine their understanding. The next principle looks at learners' readiness. Learning isn't just about having access to information, it's about timing and relevance. Adults are most motivated to learn when the topic directly applies to their work or personal life right now. Think about someone who just got promoted to a management role. A course on how to give effective feedback will be essential if it's offered 2 weeks before the performance reviews. But if the same course is offered 5 months prior, before this person is even promoted, it would feel like useless theory to them. What does this mean for learning and development teams? Well, it means aligning learning with real needs so employees see immediate value in what they're learning, and offering just-in-time learning, quick, accessible resources that people can turn to when they need them, not months before or after. And also designing learning experiences that are goal-focused, helping learners achieve something meaningful rather than just completing yet another course. The fifth principle talks about the orientation of learning, as in it should be problem-centered, not subject-centered. Adults don't learn for the sake of learning. They learn because they have a problem to solve. Kids might sit through a history lesson just because it's part of the curriculum, but adults, they want solutions they can apply to their existing problems right now. Imagine a new manager struggling with team conflicts. What would be more useful to them? A generic course titled Introduction to Leadership, or a hands-on workshop called How to Handle Tough Conversations with Your Team? You know the answer. For learning and development teams, this means structuring learning around real-world challenges instead of abstract topics, using a problem-solving approach, which means presenting a challenge, exploring solutions, and allowing learners to apply them, and making learning instantly applicable so that when people leave the session, they know exactly how to use what they've learned. Finally, The last principle says that it's not enough to tell adults, "Come and ye shall learn." They need to know what they'll get out of it. In other words, you need to think of their motivation. According to the author of this model, Malcolm Knowles, internal drives like growth and mastery fuel adult learning more effectively than external rewards like bonuses and promotions. For learning and development teams, this means framing learning opportunities in terms of tangible outcomes, such as career growth, increased efficiency, or problem solving, rather than just focusing on acquiring knowledge for its own sake. And that about wraps it up on Andragogy. If you want to learn more about learning theories, check out the next video.